Spider Farmer sent over their new SF2000 Pro grow light for an upcoming project, so let's get it out of the box and take a look. Welcome to the Hippie Geeks. Let's dig into this grow light unboxing and par level test. We have another grow series in a Spider Farmer 28-inch by 28-inch grow tent coming up, and we are going to be using this light for it. You may have seen the SF2000 in a few of our older grow series, but they have mixed things up a bit with the new Pro version of the light that we are looking at today. The first thing you are going to notice is that it no longer has the rectangular form factor and is now a 16.5-inch square. It is pulling the same 200 watts that the old rectangular version did, but with a new form factor and their new dispersed LED pattern that is supposed to lead to more even light levels across the entire canopy. As always, the packaging is great, and it comes with a set of stickers and an instructional booklet. Inside of the foam, there is the accessory bag that comes with the usual hanging wires, a pair of ratcheting straps, and the communication cable that you would use to string multiple lights together. The power cord is nice and long, though it isn't removable like all of the bar-style lights that we have looked at lately, and I wish they would add that feature to these board-style lights as well. On the left of the controller is a button that either lets the dimmer dial control the light or allows an external controller to do the dimming for it. The dial on the right is the on-off switch. If you turn it left past minimum, it will turn the light off completely. If we flip the board over so that we can look at all of the LEDs, you can see that updated pattern that we mentioned earlier. This is actually the first one of their new board-style lights with that dispersed pattern that we have looked at, so I'm really curious to see what the light levels are. Speaking of light levels, it is time to check out the par levels inside of the Spider Farmer 28-inch by 28-inch tent with measurements taken every 7 inches. The light fits easily inside of a tent this size and is going to be a midpoint between using their SF2000 light or the G3000 that we are using in the other 28-inch by 28-inch tent grow, and that barely fits in here. At a 12-inch height, the par reading in the center is 1,329, falling off to between 489 and 521 par at the far corners. At this height, the edges of the tent are going to see a lot of fall off with a light this size, as the edges just can't make it over that far. The light levels will even out more as the light is raised, however, and it is able to spread out across the canopy. Our light pulled 216 watts from the wall at full power, and it goes down from there as you dim the dial. At 80, it pulled 190 watts from the wall. At 60, it was pulling 125 watts. At 40, it went down to 79 watts. At 20, it was pulling 47 watts. And finally, at minimum, it pulled 25 watts from the wall. Moving up to an 18-inch height, the center reading is now at 855 par, and you can see that the readings around the edge of the tent are actually higher than they were at the 12-inch height because the light is actually able to reach out there now. We also took par readings with the light dimmed and averaged what the results were, which gives you the par X readings on the left. All of the readings shown on the screen are at full power, and to get the light levels at different dim settings, just multiply the shown par value by that number. For an example, the center reading at 18 inches is 855 par, but if we have the light set to 60, we would multiply that by 0.58 and get a result of 496, which will get you pretty close with all of the values shown. At a 24-inch height, the center level is down to 691 par. I am actually really impressed with how even the light levels are with this board-style light. That updated LED layout is definitely helping to get more light to the outer edges and keep the canopy more even. We are still using the Apogee SQ-420 Smart Quantum Sensor to take all of these measurements, and it has been working great for the last several years. It is just the sensor itself and plugs into a PC to get the readings, so it is a bit more affordable than their standalone units. The standalone units are more expensive but do not need to be plugged into a computer to get a reading. We will leave Amazon affiliate links down below if that is something you are interested in checking out. Moving up to 30 inches, and the center reading is now at 626 par, with the edges still looking really good. I love how all of the current crop of Spider Farmer lights have the ability to be dimmed. They were completely missing that feature when we started working with them several years ago. I do prefer to keep the lights turned down a bit when possible, as running any electronics at their maximum levels all the time can lead to more wear on the circuits than if you leave it turned down a bit. This also helps to control the heat inside of the tent, as the light will run cooler at a lower power setting, while still being able to give you a ton of light when you need it. Getting up to 36 inches, the center level is down to 550 par, again with an amazing spread from there out. I still like using as large of a light inside of a tent as we can, just so I know that we have as much light across the canopy as possible, no matter where we have hung it in relation to the plants. This light is an interesting midpoint between the smaller SF2000 board style light and the larger G3000 bar style light that we also looked at recently. I love having a choice of which light is going to work best for each project, and having a 200 watt light that fits into a small square tent like this is going to work out really well for a lot of folks without breaking the bank. Finally, I hung the light at 48 inches and the center reading is at 437 par, which is still fantastic. Even in a tent this size, you will easily be able to hang the light closer to the ceiling and get plenty of light to the canopy. The reason for that is even though the tent is 71 inches tall, there is never going to be that much space available in the tent. If you mount your exhaust fan inside of the tent, your light will likely not be able to get any closer than 12 inches to the ceiling. On the bottom, it is likely that your container and soil will be at least 12 inches above the floor level. That will leave you a max of 48 inches between the light and your seedlings, and as the plants grow, they are only going to get closer to the light, which is going to increase the par levels at the canopy naturally. We tend to sprout our seedlings in the 250 par range, and even at this height in this tent, I would need to dim the light to get that level in the center of the tent where the seedling would be. They made some really interesting changes with the new Pro version of the Spider Farmer SF2000, and I think it is going to be a really great option for a lot of folks. This is going to be a perfect light in these smaller tents, especially for folks that want to grow autoflowers, as you can keep your light cycle in the 18 to 22 hour range, which will make sure that the plants are getting tons of light throughout the day. The price point on this light is also really attractive, especially if you catch it on sale. A big thank you to Spider Farmer for sending over the SF2000 Pro for us to take a look at. If you want to check out their gear for yourself, make sure to click on the links to their website in the video description down below and use the discount code GEEKS at checkout to get 8% off your entire order. Another big shout out goes to our patrons over on Patreon that have pledged at the trimmer level. While all of our patrons help keep the channel going, you folks have gone above and beyond and we really appreciate it. Now that YouTube has removed our ability to have members on here, that is the best way to get early access to all of our videos, and we will have some new things coming for patrons as the year goes on.